Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about books again. As per the last two episodes of this series, we're going to be talking about a classic, a more current selection, a book from a Canadian author, and what I'm currently reading. So let's just jump right into it with our classic selection. And it is this beautiful, beautiful book here. And this is The Essays of Emerson, as in Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I found this book years ago at a used bookstore for like $1 or $2 in a very strange city. And it's become one that's so precious to me. It's the kind of book that I love to throw in my purse or just keep close at hand for those times when I just need to read something beautiful. And I mean, this edition itself is just so old and well loved, and just look at the beginning pages here. So beautiful. What I love about this book is it's a reminder to me that the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's like a golden thread connecting the past to the present, because so many of the essays are about things that are still so relevant and still so talked about today. Some of the essays have titles like love, friendship, self-reliance, nature, art, intellect. And every time I pick this book up and read a passage or an essay or the whole thing, I learn something new about myself, about the author, about the world in general. It's just, even if you don't agree with his particular thoughts, you can appreciate where they're coming from. And to me, it's just so valuable and so beautiful. And I love that connection between, the way we look at it now and the way it was looked at then. This was written, in, I believe, 1913, 1914. And I mean, his writing is gorgeous. He was kind of the first serious author that I got into in my late teens and early 20s. And I would definitely recommend this. And if you've already read it, I would love to know what some of your favorite essays are in the book. I myself would particularly recommend Nature and Love and Self-Reliance. So, next up, our more current selection is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Now, I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but can we just take a moment to appreciate how absolutely gorgeous this cover is? So beautiful. Now, I don't want to give too much away about this book because, as you can see, it's a very slim volume, and it's the kind of book that you can devour in a sitting or two, depending on how long you're sitting. So I will just say that it's the story of a middle-aged man who goes back to his childhood home for a funeral. And the thing about this book is it brilliantly meshes together childhood innocence and universal wisdom in a way that is unlike anything else I've read. And if you've read Neil Gaiman before, you know that the man is a genre all his own. There's no way to pin him into any other specific genre, nor would you want to, because his work is so different and so beautiful, and he's a storyteller that's just, every time I read something new, whether it's a story or like a novel or a short story or even an episode of television that he's written, just watching it, you can tell when his mark is there. And I mean, this book is absolutely magical, and the characters are unforgettable. And if you haven't read it, it's definitely something to check out, especially if you love Neil Gaiman. And if you do, please let me know in the comments below what your favorite of his books are, because I would love to talk more about him with you guys. So next up is my selection from a Canadian author, and this week I'm going with The Big Y by Michael Winter. Now, Michael Winter is quickly becoming one of my favorite storytellers. He's from Newfoundland, as I am, and this book takes place in Newfoundland. And it's a historical fiction about the life of New York painter Rockwell Kent. Now, in 1914 and 1915, Rockwell Kent spent a year and a half in Newfoundland. And that's what this book focuses on. It's an interesting look at the life of the painter, or at least that a window into that period of the life of the painter. Flaws and all, because he's definitely a flawed character, but I mean that makes it all the more interesting. Nobody wants to read about, the perfect character. That's no fun. It's unrealistic, and this book, it deals with the life of the painter, and to me it also deals a lot with man versus community. That seems to be a theme that I pick up a lot of throughout this book. And Michael Winter, he's a fantastic author. He's very sharp and very unique, and his prose is beautiful and almost poetic. And for me, I've read mixed reviews on this book personally. People either seem to love it or they don't care for it at all. But I loved it, and it's definitely one of the things I do love about it is not only does it take place in Newfoundland, it takes place in a small town that is very near and dear to my heart, which is Brigus. And I have a lot of memories of that town from when I was a child and traveling there by boat with my grandparents and aunts and uncles. And so this book, not only does it teach me about the particular history that it's teaching, but it also carries me back in time to my own memories about the town. And that's something really fun for me. So if you can get your hands on it, I would definitely recommend giving it a read. And finally, what I'm currently reading, is The Almost Moon by Alice Sebold. Now, if this name is familiar to you, Alice Sebold, that is, it's probably because she's the author of The Lovely Bones, which you've probably either read, or maybe you've either seen or heard about the movie, which I think starred Mark Wahlberg. For some reason, I'm thinking that. I picked this up actually at the dollar store for $1 because, I mean, you can't go wrong for $1, and I was familiar with her previous work, so I was very interested to see what this book was about. I'm only a couple chapters in, but the first line of this book is, "When all is said and done, killing my mother came easily." I read that in the store, and I was kind of like, okay, well, let's see where this goes. It definitely starts with a quick kick, and so far I'm enjoying it. From what I've read on the back, it explores, mother-daughter relationships, which are always so complicated, and also dementia. And I don't know. I think I'm really going to like this. So if you've read this, let me know what you think, and if not, I'll let you know what I think. What I'm planning to do right now is, so for the past, this week and the past 2 weeks, I've mentioned the books I'm currently reading. So I'm thinking once I get to 6 weeks of that, I'll make a video talking about those 6 books that I have been currently reading and let you know what I did think of them in the end. So if you would be interested in that, let me know. And that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed this. And I would love to know what you're currently reading. So just leave that in the comments down below. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up. And if you would be interested in seeing more, make sure you do subscribe so that you don't miss anything. And to everyone that's subscribed so far, thank you so much. It means so much to me just to have you guys here. And so yeah, that's it for now. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.